Hi everyone, and welcome back to this video in our basics track. Today I'm featuring a guest speaker here talking about general education patterns of our students, assist.org, which is a really handy way to look at articulation between the community colleges and the UCs, and educational plans that are part of the counseling process at the college. Very recently, through the Promise class, our wonderful counselor, Cristi Ellingford, came in and spoke to the class about all these issues. So what I'm doing is sharing the video with you in its entirety. I thought it was so profound in terms of what she presented to us that I wanted you to hear it from start to finish. So please take advantage of this great video and have a listen to Cristi talking about these important aspects of general education, assist.org, and educational plans for our students.
Okay. So, the main goal of this Promise program is to help you with your tuition and to get you graduated, right? Either graduated with an associate's degree or graduated with an associate's degree and transfer to a university, CSU, California State University, UC, University of California system, or a private college. Okay, but there's multiple steps in order to make that happen. And so many times students come in and they say, I just want to get my general education done and then I'm going to transfer. And that's not how it works. So yes, everyone has to do general education. That's English, that's math, that's history. But if you come to us and you only take general education and then you say you want to transfer to Sac State as a business major, Sac State is not going to accept you because you don't have any classes in business. So general education is very important, but what's also really, really important, maybe just as important, is what's called major preparation. And that's prep for your major. And that's like physics and computer science, some of you wilderness studies, some of you it's teaching. So all those things are critical to get before you transfer. So why we make you come see me or a counselor, but preferably me, why we do that is because we are a small campus. So not every class is offered each quarter. So I have two good examples, actually, if you guys don't mind me picking on you. But Svetlana is in calculus right now. A lot of you are actually probably in calculus, but I'm looking right at you. So calculus only starts in fall. If you don't start it in fall, that means you have to wait a whole nother year to get into it. And that pushes your transfer, your graduation, that pushes it back. Catherine is in, do you mind if I share which her? in elementary teaching. And she has a math class that she has to take, Math 109. It's offered once every 2 years. So if you don't get it when we're offering it, that could push you back 3 years of being able to transfer. So we know, and then also Michaela's in a lot of classes, in a bunch of wilderness classes that are offered only once a year or once every 2 years. And her classes are really complicated because they conflict with a lot of other stuff. So her classes are typically like a weekend class, or a Thursday night and a Friday that conflicts with only one other class. So we're aware of these things, and that's why we want to create, I'll show you this if we can get Austin back. Yeah, it's fine, but we'll broadcast it up on the screen. But this is what we're doing. Who haven't I done this for? There's quite a few of you that we haven't done this for. So when you come in, this is what we're going to do. It's quarter by quarter, everything you need, and when you have to take it, so that you can graduate on time, that you can get your degree, so that we can say, hey, computer science classes are only offered once every 2 years. If you don't get it now, you're going to have to wait. So we really want to have this for you because everyone wants to get out of here, right? Like everyone wants to move on, get their degree. Okay, so the major is one aspect of it. But when you come in, probably like the thing that any counselor is going to ask you is, which general education pattern are you following? So let's review those really quickly so that when you come in, you can say, I know which one I want to use. And we'll start with the easiest one. So the easiest one is this pink form. This is the Lake Tahoe Community College general education pattern. This one requires the least amount of math, the least amount of English, the least amount of general education. This one's about 35 units. So if you're not planning to transfer, but you're focused on getting an associate's degree in early childhood education or something that will help you get a job right away, this is the one you want to use. Not a transfer pattern, but this is the one you want to use. And you use it in conjunction with one of our majors. So you could use it with like medical office assistants. So we don't give these out anymore. but they're online. But you would use it with like medical office assistant or natural science. So it's these two things together. It's your general education and it's these classes. What's pretty cool, we think it's cool, is that a lot of the general education classes are also required for some majors. So we'll tell you those classes, so it's fewer classes that you have to take. So we'll say, hey, you can take calculus and it will also satisfy your math requirement. Or the school you want to go to is requiring philosophy 205, which is contemporary moral issues, and that will also satisfy one of your social science classes. So that's great, because who wants to take more classes than they need to? Nobody. Oh, Benda. Okay, well, I'll make that happen for you. I'll get you in a bunch of extra classes. Okay, so then the next transfer pattern, okay, so let's go on before Beth gets here. So the next general education pattern, like how many are planning to go to a California State University?
You don't need to use this. I would just
California State University?
Okay, so when those are PowerPoints,
Channel Islands, Sac State. Okay, so if you know for sure that's where you're going to go, you're going to follow this form. Okay? This is the next step up. It's a little bit more rigorous than the pink one, and it has a higher level of math. So you have to have everything on this has to be transferable to a CSU. Okay? And then the most rigorous one, which probably most of you were on, is this one that we IGETC. So when you come in, we're going to say which gen ed pattern are you following, and you'll say IGETC, or you can say the green one. The IGETC, most students follow this because they don't know where the heck they're going to go. I don't know, I want to be eligible to go to UC and CSU. So this one allows you to go to either UC or CSU. So this is the most flexible one. It's also the most rigorous. So one of the reasons it's the most rigorous is because the arts, for example, like on this one you can take ceramics or painting, or you can take some like music, some basic music classes, but on this one, you have to take art history, you have to take music theory, you have to take history of film. So this one is, you don't get to use as many of those, or any of those hands-on type classes to transfer to the UC. But if you're not sure, this is the best one to follow, and this is what most students follow. On this one, you also have to have 2 years of a foreign language. So if you didn't have it in high school, then we have to get you in 2/4 of it here. Yes, question? Okay. So most of you, I feel like almost everyone I've seen had 2 years of a foreign language in high school, so you're good. If you're a native Spanish speaker, then you can test out of some of it, or any, well, really just Spanish because we're not offering any of the other classes. But or Japanese, if you're a native Japanese speaker, you could also challenge those classes and get credit for them. Okay, so beyond that, what am I going to do? How am I going to show this?
Finger on there.
Whoa. Okay. Hey.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. So this is what we're doing when you come in. Does anyone here want to be a nurse? Is anyone here a nursing major? Okay. So one of the things that's really tricky about nursing as well is, so this would be fall 19, winter 20, spring 20. Do you know any of the classes that are required for nursing? What's like the main class? The main, nutrition is required at some schools. And guess what? Nutrition also satisfies your area E on this plan. So that's cool. Anatomy and physiology is like the meat and potatoes of that program. So you have to have anatomy and physiology. What's tricky about that is it's kind of like the calculus. There's a prerequisite to get into it. It'll be offered in spring. It's offered each quarter, but you need to have it by minimum of spring to get into Bio 203 in fall, and then Bio 204, and then Bio 205. Okay, so there's a bunch of other classes like this too. Catherine's in one that's EDU 100 that I think is only offered right now, right? You're in that one right now? It's only offered right now, and I didn't get it this quarter. She would have to wait 2 more years. She'd have to stick around an extra year to get it. So we want to make that not happen for you. Some of the other ones that are tricky are the computer science, physics, calculus, chemistry. They all only start in fall, but the tricky thing is they have prerequisites that you have to make sure that you get prior to that quarter happening. Is that, how do I erase it?
There's an eraser two
I see it.
characters over there.
Oh, and then do you,
Yeah, I think there's a way to do it.
I don't need any pictures. It's okay. And some, I wanted to show you, because it's actually really complicated, and it seems like it wouldn't be. It's wilderness studies, which is such a fun major, but it's really, really tricky to get the classes in each quarter. And so some quarters she has to take 18 units, but it also looks like she's taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 classes in one quarter. So that's like, wow, okay, shoot, that's a lot of classes. But some of them are only 0.5 units or 0.2 units in their field experiences. And so that is maybe a little bit different than the traditional, coursework that you'd be taking. But a lot of you are going to be taking, you need to take a minimum of 16 units in order to be eligible to transfer in 2 years. Now I know that we're marketing, you're allowed to stay here for 3 years, so some of you have already said, I'm going to stay here for 3 years. You still have to be at a minimum of 12 units each quarter, so you want to make those units meaningful, right? You don't want to just be taking something for 12 units. You want to make those units appropriate for your degree. So I already met with you two. What about you? Drinking that orange juice. What's your major? Do you know?
Education.
So you're education as well, to go on for a teaching credential.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and we haven't met yet, have we?
No.
Okay, yeah, so you need to get in so we can make sure that we get you in all of the right classes. And so what I'm going to ask you is, hey, which general education pattern are you following? Right? And which, the math that you're in right now, because the math that you need is going to be offered in spring, and it's being offered with a really cool teacher, so it would be great if you could take it this quarter with Helen. So, which one of these do you think you're going to use?
The white.
Yeah.
Or the green one.
You'd use this one, yep. And so something else that's a lot of students that are transferring for education or nursing or business, some of these more hands-on type degrees, you're going to be going to a California State University. There's one UC campus that I know of that offers a nursing degree, and that is UCLA. And in addition to the anatomy and physiology, they also require a full year of general bio and a full year of chem and OChem, so it's really rigorous to get into when you could be looking at some of these other programs. So, who has questions? Now I need to get to the internet.
Yeah, you can do that.
Here's how you know what the major preparation is. You should all write this down, because everyone has access to this. This is what the counselors use to figure out what you need in addition to your general education, except in Michaela's case because they don't have a wilderness degree, and I already knew that from a different program. So you're not going to find this one on here. So there's going to be some that you're going to come in and you're going to say, wait, I didn't see it on there. That's okay. I can still help you figure out which classes you need. But this is this is where most of your traditional majors you're going to find. It's called assist.org. Okay, and you put in our campus, Lake Tahoe Community College, to Sac State, and we're going to look up, let's look up nursing with some people in here. And this is just an example, so you guys can all look at your own, maybe, potentially. Well, what normally happens is it'll print a report, and the report, let's see if we can. Okay, so this is math. Who wants to major in math? A couple people were not math majors, but all right. So let's go here. So let's go back to nursing. Okay. Maybe. All right. So it gives, oftentimes it's going to give you a little description. What do we need to know? We're not going to go through that right now. It does talk about the minimum GPA. GPA to get into nursing is approximately 3.9. Okay. This is a super competitive major. You want to have A's and B's in all of your sciences. So in order to get in, you need a speech class, you need an English class, you need a critical thinking, and you need a quantitative reasoning. Everybody needs those for every major. We call those the golden four. Coincidentally, they're also on here. Okay, so double counting these classes. Then you need Chem 100. So the classes over here, these are going to be the other college's course numbers. And for some stupid reason, the course numbers are not all uniform. So what they call their class, we're going to call ours something else. So you're going to have their Chem 6A, you're going to take our Chem 100. And you're going to take a full year of anatomy and physiology. These are their classes, these are our classes. So when you're looking for them, you'll look for Bio 210. Okay? All these classes are going to double count. Psych 101, Psych 104, they're going to count on your general education. You're going to use them in your humanities and your social science. If you took other classes, you'd still have to take these, and you wind up taking extra classes. I've never ever met one student who was happy about that, so I want to make sure that doesn't happen. We want to take electives, maybe take something that you're interested in, and then the psych and the soc. So on here you can choose between either of those. So you can choose Psych 102 or Soc 103, Soc 101 or Anthropology 102, but you need both. You need 2 classes from that area, those areas, okay? And they all double count. Does anyone have like one that they are like dying to see?
Physics.
Physics at where? Do you know?
UC Davis.
UC Davis. Okay, so we have a really strong agreement with UC Davis, so that was a good one to pick. UC Davis. Physics. Oh, how about Sac State? We're still at Sac State. Let's go over there. What are some things you think are going to be required? Physics. Do you think you need chemistry?
Yeah.
You already know what you need. Okay, so their classes are going to be on the left, ours are going to be on the right. So you're going to need Physics 107, 108, 207, and 208. Those are sequential, so again, this is really tricky. Some of you have already come to see me about this. Those are sequential classes, and they're also co-requisites with calculus classes. So you have to be in the right level of calculus to get into those. And they're only offered once a year, and if you don't get it the first year, then you can see how that would really push you back because you couldn't start the Physics 207 the following year. It starts with Math 105, 106, 107, so that's the fall. I think a lot of you were actually, this is the first year we've had a lot of you starting right in calculus. It's pretty exciting. 105, 106, 107, and then the following year, 202, 203, 204, and you'll take those with your physics. Right? So if you're not in that, then it pushes you back another year. But I think you're in, right? Chem, this is where it gets, so there's also something that, for those of you who are planning to be here for 3 years, like this is a great example, there's something called a high unit major. These classes are all 5 units. 5 units, and then let's say you also have chem, and you have physics. And down here you also have physics, and you have perhaps organic chemistry, depending on what your major is. These are all 5 units. That's a lot to do in 1 quarter. And to have to do it for 6 quarters, you're going to be well over 90 units by the time you finish that and potentially all your general education. So oftentimes these students that are like engineering or computer science or something that we call a high unit major, pre-med, something like that, they're going to be here for 3 years trying to meet those requirements because you also want to have good grades, right? Especially for nursing. Sorry to keep saying that. Jeez, Beth. She's trying to be discreet. It's okay, you can leave it out. I actually think it's hot in here. Like, it's nice to have it out. She's lucky she's my good friend. Okay, so this is sort of an example of, and we're going to use this tool. The last thing that I want to share with you is at the end of this year, if you have 45 units, which you should to remain in this program, we have, with the UC system, we have transfer agreements. So it's guaranteed admission into certain UCs based on your major if you maintain a specific GPA and complete all the required coursework. So you're guaranteed admission into like Santa Cruz, UC Davis we have it with, We have it with, I don't know, I can't think of all the campuses, but it's major specific by campus, so we could look it up for you. But who wants guaranteed admission? It's pretty cool. Has to be to the UC. So we don't do it. We do something similar with the California State University, which is called an associate degree of transfer. We don't do it with nursing, but we do it with business, elementary ed. These are transfer degrees that if you complete all the coursework here, you're guaranteed admission, again, by meeting the minimum GPA, you're guaranteed into one of the California State Universities. It may not be your primary choice, which almost everyone I've seen, many students that I've seen have said they wanted to go to San Diego. So not everyone can go to San Diego, but we'll help you pick maybe like San Marcos or some other place, Long Beach. Long Beach is also impacted. But you could get guaranteed acceptance into one of the California State Universities, which is something new. We didn't used to have that, and it's pretty cool to be able to. Scott, Beth, and I didn't have that as an option. Although they're pretty smart, so they got in there. Okay.
Scott, maybe Scott.
No.
Okay, who has questions about this? So when you come in to see me, I want you to have an idea of which general education pattern you want, and hopefully, like, some emphasis of your major. Okay, like if you don't know for sure, that's okay. But I'm sort of interested in business, or I'm kind of interested in, I love math, or I really like chemistry. Those are things that help me so that you're not accidentally here longer than you need to be. Okay? Did you have a, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm nursing,
Yep.
and I want to go to Sac State. So
Yes.
And for the psychology class, I'm in one, but it wasn't one of the ones up there.
Which one are you in?
Lifespan development.
Yeah, lifespan's gonna count. It's
Okay.
fine. What's gonna happen is Psych 102 and Psych 103 are child and adolescent and adult development, and Beth created a Psych 109, which is the span of the whole thing. You would have had 8 units if you took both of those, but the one that you're taking is 4. So all that means is you're going to wind up taking another elective unit.
Okay.
Because you still need 90 units.
Right.
So you'll take an elective unit to meet that requirement. But that class will eventually get approved. So something to know about Assist is it's not completely up to date all the time. It's a really good guide. But again, that's why you want to come see a counselor. Because it's, we know things like that are like, that's been submitted for approval. We know that it will get approved.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, you can take it out on Beth. She's your teacher right there.
If it doesn't, then I'll talk some heads to you. I'll fix it.
Yeah, it's going to count. Don't worry. Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
So, Cristi, one
Yes,
other question.
yeah,
So
Scott has a question.
How are you feeling
Yes.
about the check-ins? Do you feel like everyone's on track with your twice a month?
I
besides the
feel
class?
like, looking in here in this class, I've seen a lot of these students already. A lot of these students even more than once. So what we're doing with, we already have an advanced copy of the winter and spring schedule. So this quarter, in November, for the first time, you're going to be able to register for winter and spring at the same time. You only, like years past, you only were able to register for one quarter at a time. So it's a little bit tedious and it's taking some time, but I'm helping you create your schedule for the next January through June, so that you can work out your work
I
schedule.
didn't know that.
What's that?
I didn't know that. So spring
Yeah.
classes too.
Yeah, we're
Wow.
we're doing spring at the same time. So
Wow.
we're doing winter and spring. I'm giving you the sections so that on November 14th or whatever the day is, I can't remember, you'll be able to go to admissions and register for the next 2 quarters. You guys are going to have priority. I think like the second or third priority. You want to make sure you register. Please, please, please register on the first day. Because if you don't register for 2 weeks or 3 months, then it makes it really hard to get the classes you want. And it makes it hard for us to find a schedule that works with your work schedule and your family life. So really try to enroll in those classes right away.